Hey everybody, this is the Facebook Ads with the Twang podcast. I'm your host Ben Blackman, and today we're talking about why your Facebook ad competitors just aren't who you think they are. So here comes episode number 12. Facebook Ads with the Twang is dedicated to taking the often overcomplicated process of creating simple, successful Facebook ads, breaking them down step by step in less than 10 minutes at a time. Let's get started. Well, it's episode number 12, and I'm thrilled to have you on here. I was just looking at some, metrics regarding my podcast, and I started this about a month ago, and I've got 800 plus downloads. And just to kind of put that in perspective, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and by James Wedmore, the Mind Your Business podcast, which is really good. You should check it out. But I was listening to it, and he talked about how they had over 800,000 downloads. I'm thinking, well, I'm not quite there yet, but almost, And really, though, I didn't get down or anything like that. I just thought, hey, I got started at 800 in a month. That seems pretty good, especially since I'm not promoting the podcast or anything like that. And I'm really grateful that you're taking time, and it's valuable time out of your day to even listen to this. So I totally respect that, and I hope that you've gotten value from it. So let's talk about who your Facebook ad competitors really are, not who you think they are. So for me, I might say, my Facebook ad competitors are, Amy Porterfield or John Loomer, maybe Kim Garst, somebody like that, somebody who's kind of known for doing Facebook ads, right? Or Russell Brunson, somebody who's known for doing funnels. But those really aren't my competitors. Those are people I need to do research on and understand them so that I can, see what they're doing, and maybe model some of it, maybe look at how they're positioning stuff, look at their funnels, look at their ads, those kinds of things. But those really technically aren't our competition. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you about exactly who your competition is, but before I tell you that, I want you to understand why people are on Facebook to begin with, and I think you already know why. Now, a lot of us who are marketers or do some kind of business on, and use Facebook for that purpose, think, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, we think that people are on Facebook to buy stuff, and they're really not. Right? They ain't on there to see your ad or my ad or anybody else's. They're on there because they're kind of escaping from their real world for a little while, right? They're wanting something else to do for a little bit. They're wanting to check up to see what their funny Uncle Fred said over the weekend about something that happened, right? Or they're wanting to see, their ex-boyfriend, what they're into, or who they're dating now, or their grandkids, or whatever it is, right? They're there for every other reason other than to see your ad, okay? That's why Facebook ads is an interruption advertising type platform, unlike, say, YouTube ads or Google AdWords, where people are actually typing in a question, right, or searching for something, and then the ad comes up. So we're interrupting what they're doing, and when we're interrupt what somebody is doing, we better make it valuable for them. And I don't think people think about that enough. I don't think that they go into making their Facebook ad thinking, does this really provide, the ad itself provide them value and provide them a reason to stop scrolling down their news feed? So if you want to know who your competitors are on Facebook, it's all your potential clients, all their friends and relatives. That's who your competitors are, because those people are scrolling down their news feed, looking at pictures or looking at videos or other funny stuff, or they're reading up on what happened to one of their friends or something like that. They're not there again to see your ad. So you have to understand the mentality behind the people who are scrolling through the ad. And I do the same thing, right? I don't really get on Facebook that often and post on my personal page very much, but occasionally I will scroll through it. And, when I'm scrolling through it, I'm not necessarily looking for ads about marketing or business or something like that, which is usually what appears in my news feed. For a good reason, but I'm looking to see what's going on with my friends and family, right? Because, I don't want to pick up the phone and call anybody. And I think that's true for a lot of people. So to understand this, the goal of your ad, okay, should not be to sell your product or service. That's not the goal of the ad. Your ad is not the landing page. It's not, to sell the webinar. It's not to sell your 3-part video series. The goal of the ad is to get their attention and hold it long enough, give them enough value so that they can take action on the ad and take them to the next step, right? So if you have a webinar that you're trying to promote, the goal of the ad is to get them to click on the ad to get them to the landing page to register for the webinar. It's not to get them to register for the webinar right there on the ad. Okay, now the argument could be made that using what we call Facebook lead ads, the goal of the ad is to get them to do that. However, lead ads have a different purpose, and we'll talk about lead ads a little bit later on in another episode. But 99% of the time, your ads are just to get them to take the next step. So you've got to make it worth it for them to stop scrolling. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean your ad has to be shocking, although it could be, right? But if your ad looked like something that would interest them, then they're going to stop and then they're going to read it. Okay, even though it says sponsored in the ad so that they know it's an ad, or even if they're doing something else, it is possible to get them to stop scrolling if what you have to offer is valuable enough and interesting enough. So if you want to have high converting ads, here's what you do. You literally look at what your customers or potential customers or clients currently comment on, what they post about, and what they talk about in their own news feeds, right? So you go and look and see what they're talking about, see what groups they're in, see what comments they're making. You join those groups, you see what they're talking about, so that you can get an idea of what's going on, the conversation that's already going on in their mind. That's the goal. That's your ad, right? It's the conversation they're already having. And after you take, and you don't have to look at hundreds of them, okay? You can just look at a few people that are your ideal audience or your ideal client and get that information. You want to see what they post about, because that is what is most likely to get their attention, because that's what they're thinking about. Okay, so I don't want you to skip this research or think that targeting is going to fix everything, because it just doesn't. Targeting's only a piece of the puzzle. If you don't have good creative, it doesn't matter how good your targeting is, right? I mean, you're going to get some, but you may not get the ideal ones, and you may pay a lot more than you need to. Okay, so do the research, look at, who you're targeting, right? Then look at your creative of the people that's your ideal client, because your ideal client's going to tell you everything that they need to know about what they want to see and hear from you. And if you position it right, your ads will take off. So the answer to the question, should I have long copy, should I have short copy, should I use a video, should I use an image? Well, the answer is yeah and no. You should do all of it or none of it, right? Your audience will tell you what's best. So that's what you have to do. That's who your competition is. It's everybody's friends and family. That's your competition. So when you go to make your next ad, make sure that you bear that in mind. Now, if you need to know how to do the targeting, you can look at episode number 11, where I gave you, and actually in the show notes in episode 11, about audience insights. I talked to you about how to research your competitors, as far as direct competitors, not necessarily competitors in the news feed. So I hope this was valuable. If you have any questions about Facebook ads, or you have a topic I should cover, or anything like that, just shoot me an email. I'm glad to answer it. It's superman@onefocusmarketing.com. That's superman@onefocusmarketing.com, and I'll be glad to answer that question. If you want to join my closed Facebook group, Funnel Strategies for Facebook, you can go to the show notes. There'll be a link there. You can go to onefocusmarketing.com/episode 12, all one word, episode 12. So, and listen, I would love to have you there. And by the way, just so you know, the Facebook group, I think I mentioned this on another episode, I'm going to be charging for it pretty soon. Right now, I am not. So if you want to go ahead and join it, please go ahead and do that now, because the people who are already in will be grandfathered in. And that's it. I hope you got a lot of value, and I'll talk to you on episode 13. See you then.